So this latest chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen is heavily focused on Sukuna and his bath. Everything that we need to know about this bath, it explains in this chapter, and we see why it's important for Sukuna to actually take this bath and how it actually works. But it's also, we're able to see Sukuna, what he's able to do after the bath, where he is able enough to go ahead and destroy certain sorcerers, and we are able to see what his next opponent is going to be at the end of the next chapter, which is Ryozu, which is the past sorcerer who actually took over Megumi's sister's body. But then we also get a little bit more details about Kenjaku and why he hasn't started the merger with Tegan yet. So a lot of information that's happening in this chapter, and is really great to see. And we're also to see more action of Sukuna and how he's going to cause a whole bunch of destructions. But give a like and subscribe for more Jujutsu Kaisen content as we focus on Kenjaku as he is having a conversation with Yoyami. But while they're both are having a conversation, we get in focus on the beginning of the chapter as we see that Sukuna is actually in his bath, taking up all of the water, relaxing, and just enjoying his time as he's underneath this water. But then we focus on the conversation of Yoyami and Kenjaku as Yoyami asks, is the calling game is actually going to end? Which Kenjaku replies saying yes, for his main goal is to have the great merger with mankind with Tegan, and it cannot happen until the calling game actually ends. So Yoyami just really just asks, she was just like, so why did you even make the design in the first place? And like, why did you keep it going on and on and on? Then we see that Kenjaku literally stated that the reason why he made something that is unreasonable as in the calling games is because of the fact that he made a binding vow to eventually end the never-ending game. Then we see that Yoyami, she just kind of looks at Kenjaku, and then she's just like, then why did you even came back here in the first place? Which Kenjaku applies, saying that, aren't you going to ask me how do I plan on doing it? Because this is actually true. If he made a binding vow to end the calling games, then we need to know how he's going to end the calling game. But then he says that I'm more interested in this bath of right now because this is something new that Kenjaku has never experienced. So then in the next page, we get more details about this bath as we see that Yoyami is saying that I knew it was the originally used as a ritual to transform vessels, treasures as a family heirloom into cursed tools in order to protect from the outsiders. As a solution of cursed energy is created by garnishing and straining the organism choose in the ritual. The vessel is in marinating for 10 months and 10 days. And so I wasn't expecting you to use cursed spirit to reconstruct this ritual, as we see a whole bunch of dead spirits on like this sheet pad, and you see all of the blood is dripping onto what is this bath that we see. So we just see Sukuna is actually bathing into cursed spirit's blood as he is just soaking up all of the cursed energy in him. So then we see that Yoyami explaining like how she's able to get the blood of the curses, because normally when you destroy the curses, they turn into dust. Because she even explained it, saying that when curses are killed, they become dust, thanks to the disappearance of the reaction. There are some exceptions, but a piece of that is to cut off the will that disappears the same way. That is why my method has been to first be carefully to pin the spirit down, then freeze its core with my technique before it's separating it. As we see that Yoyami is actually pinning down a whole bunch of cursed spirits, gutting them up and having their blood be dripped into like this napkin fold, which is pretty much, Sukuna is actually just bathing in a whole bunch of like cursed spirit blood. And the whole purpose of this bath is so that Sukuna can actually gain more control over the whole body of Megumi, because Megumi's body is still intact and still like kind of getting like in control of Sukuna. But with this whole purpose of this bath, that the whole bath is so that, so, Megumi's soul will go deeper and deeper in the depths of like darkness, so that way, like, there's no like trace of Megumi's soul or ego or anything else like that. It's going to be fully Sukuna in the driver's side. Sukuna will be like owning this new body. So Sukuna comes out of this bath refreshed and ready to cause mayhem and destructions. So then the first thing that he does is ask Kogen, where is Samiki at? Because he needs to know where she's at, so that way he can go on ahead and finish her off, and so that way he can shatter the soul of Megumi. So Kogen reveals the location of where Tamiki is at, and then we get a little bit more backstory or information about, the past sorceress that's actually taking control over her body, which is Yorozu, because Yorozu actually had like this one-sided crush with Sukuna, and then we see that Sukuna doesn't really care, because all he just wants to focus on is actually destroying Megumi's sister so he can gain more control over the body. And we see that Kenjaku kind of understands where Sukuna is actually coming from. So the scene comes into a different area of the Calling Games, as we see Ryu actually make another appearance, which was actually sad for Ryu, because he sensed this aura of like this horrible like being that's actually coming, like this powerful being, and then it was actually Sukuna, the king of curses. And then we see that Ryu is actually like kind of like literally being afraid, because he sees how powerful Sukuna actually is. And Sukuna didn't waste any time. This man literally destroys Ryu like in 2 pages, and we saw Ryu actually went toe-to-toe with Yuta, and it took 3 chapters. So the fact that it is that Ryu actually got destroyed in 2 pages just showcase how Sukuna and this bath actually works, and it actually supports Sukuna and like, his power and everything else. And so as of this moment, we see that, Sukuna used cleave to cut the chest and the stomach of Ryu, and then we are able to see him cut the head or the face off of Ryu. And then we focus on Sukuna, because he was able to meet up with Yorozu. And then we see that, Sukuna is like talking to Yorozu, as Yorozu said that, oh, so you switch kids now. As we see that Sukuna says like, I like this face much better. And then the chapter ends as we're getting and preparing for Sukuna versus Yorozu. And things are about to get very, very interesting, because, we're about to see if Sukuna is able enough to go on ahead and destroy Megumi's, sister. And we're going to see how everything will conclude in the next chapter, which is going to be very, very crazy. And it's just really, really funny how, Sukuna, he just pulls up out of this bath, and then he just destroys Ryu, one of the, strongest sorcerers or past sorcerers, and he was able to take care of him like it was nothing. And then we are able to get more understandings about this bath and what's the whole purpose of this bath. And we're going to see how Kenjaku is probably going to end this Calling Game, so that way he can start doing the merger. All of this was happening in this chapter, which was very great. It was very informative, and it just kind of like established how much of a dog and how much of a threat and how powerful Sukuna actually is, because Sukuna doesn't really care at all. But let me know down in the comment section how you guys feel about this chapter and what is your favorite moment. And if you guys do like the video, please give it a like, subscribe, and remember, always be decent. This is the Monotone Man, and hope you guys have a wonderful day and be safe out here. Peace.